Just nu så står jag mitt på Times Square. Vi var precis inne på stora H&M-butiker och där fick vi veta att de ska stänga ner butiken.
Ja, Alexander Sandin kunde inte ha valt en sämre tid för sin weekend i New York. Kaos råder i staten efter att stormen Jonas, eller som det nu kallas för Snowzilla, slagit till hårt mot den amerikanska östkusten.
Väldigt få bilar och det kom ju precis nyheter nu bara för några minuter sedan att det är bestämt nu att det råder trafikförbud från och med om en timme i New York. Det betyder att man måste ställa ifrån sig sina bilar och inte vara ute på gatorna med några fordon fram tills nästa besked kommer. Så det här råder alltså tills vidare. Även bussar har ställts in under eftermiddagen och framåt.
85 miljoner människor har drabbats, över 10 000 flyg har ställts in och minst 17 personer har dött. I flera städer har lokaltrafiken stängt ner och New Yorks tunnelbanesystem är till stora delar avstängt.
People come from all over the world to go sightseeing in Washington, D.C., but today the sights are pretty hard to see. Case in point, the Capitol building is just down there, but there's not a chance you'll be able to see it, even though on a clear day it's really obvious. The snow that's coming down right now is pretty heavy. We've got about a foot of snow so far. It's a sort of light powdery stuff, which is actually good news, believe it or not. They were worried that heavier snow might down trees or power lines.
Under lördagen nådde ovädret flera stora städer och CNN var ute och rapporterade från flera delar av landet.
There's a tremendous amount of snow coming off of the top of this building right now. As these gusts come through, it pushes all this very powdery snow off the roof and down here onto the drifts. And we're getting drifts well above my knees. As we get closer to the building here, just to show you, see if I can actually get there, which I probably can't. Oh, there is. Well, that's probably at least 4 feet of drift right here. And I can't actually make it all the way there because it's just too difficult. Whew. And the snow is going to, of course, be drifting quite a bit because the temperature is fairly low. You get very powdery snow, and of course that can get moved around by the wind very easily. And that means that drifting could occur on the road. So if you're going to be out, be very, very careful if you're anywhere between New York City and Washington, D.C.
We continue to feel band of this storm here in Margate City. We're just south of Atlantic City in New Jersey, and this is essentially a barrier island. To our east is the Atlantic Ocean, and to our west is a bay, is an inlet. And as that storm surge hits, that bay keeps getting fuller and fuller. And this morning at high tide, it overflowed, overtaking this area. You can see this is Vintner Avenue in Margate City, and it is totally inundated. Many businesses have set up sandbags outside. Some of them have not. The potential for damage to those businesses still unknown. We know that roughly a few dozen people have been displaced because of these floodwaters, and there's no sign that this water is going to go away anytime soon, specifically because high tide is coming later tonight. We're going to keep a close eye on these conditions and continue to monitor them throughout the weekend. Governor Chris Christie expects things to mostly be back to normal by Monday. Boris Sanchez, CNN, Margate City, New Jersey.
Well, we are officially going to break a record here in Central Park or Times Square all across the city. Manhattan officially going to go above the highest snowfall record on record for as long as they've been keeping records here in New York, and I guess that's kind of a milestone. But the wind here in Central Park and in Times Square wasn't as bad as we saw down the shore or down in Baltimore and Philadelphia and DC, so we don't have the drifting like they have down there. It's a little bit better. Talia is actually from Florida.
Hur stor notan för Snowzilla kommer att bli är svårt att beräkna, men en tidig uppskattning av USAs meteorologiska institut, National Weather Service, var att det skulle hamna på över 8,6 miljarder kronor.